In the heart of Alexandria, Egypt, lies the neighborhood of Karmooz, a place rich with history, vibrant markets, and bustling streets. But in the late 1940s, this lively district was gripped by a terror so profound it would be etched into the city's memory forever. This is the chilling story of Saad Iskandar, a man who became known as the Karmooz Serial Killer. Our story begins in 1948, a time when Egypt was still navigating the aftermath of World War II. Life was returning to normal, but beneath the surface of Alexandria's cosmopolitan charm, a shadow was growing. It started with whispers, then rumors, of women disappearing without a trace. These weren't isolated incidents. A pattern was emerging, and a palpable fear began to creep through the narrow alleys and crowded homes of Karmooz. The police were initially baffled. In an era without modern forensic technology, investigations relied heavily on witness testimony and old-fashioned detective work. But the victims seemed to vanish into thin air. They were often women from humble backgrounds, their disappearances initially dismissed or overlooked, making the killer's early work tragically easy. The first confirmed victim linked to the growing horror was a woman named Fatima. She was last seen heading to the local market, a routine trip she'd made 1,000 times. When she didn't return, her family grew worried. Days turned into weeks, and hope began to fade. Then, another woman disappeared, and another. The community was on edge. Doors were locked earlier, and women were warned not to walk alone. The Phantom of Karmooz had become a terrifying reality. The police, under immense public pressure, ramped up their investigation. They interviewed dozens of people, chased down every lead, and patrolled the streets day and night. But the killer was elusive, a ghost who left no clues. The press dubbed him the Monster of Karmooz, and his notoriety spread like wildfire across Egypt. The entire nation was captivated and horrified by the unseen predator stalking the women of Alexandria. The breakthrough in the case came from an unlikely source, a piece of jewelry. One of the victims' families reported that she was wearing a distinctive ring when she disappeared. This small detail, which might have been overlooked, became the crucial thread that would unravel the entire mystery. The police began to focus their efforts on pawn shops and local jewelers, hoping the killer might have tried to sell his victims' belongings. It was a long shot, but it paid off. A sharp-eyed jeweler recognized the description of the ring. He remembered a man who had sold it to him just a few days prior. He described the man as well-dressed and charming, someone who didn't fit the monstrous image the public had conjured. The seller's name was Saad Iskandar. Who was Saad Iskandar? On the surface, he was an ordinary man. He ran a small business, was married, and had a reputation as a friendly, even charismatic, member of the community. No one would have suspected him of being capable of such heinous acts. He lived a seemingly normal life, which made the truth all the more shocking. Armed with this new information, the police descended on Saad Iskandar's home. The house itself was unassuming, just another building on a busy Karmooz street. But what they found inside was a house of horrors. During the search, investigators discovered a hidden cellar. As they pried open the heavy door and descended into the darkness, they were met with a scene that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. The cellar was a makeshift tomb. The bodies of the missing women were found there, their lives brutally cut short. The evidence was overwhelming. Jewelry, clothing, and other personal items belonging to the victims were scattered around the grim scene, proof of Saad's horrific crimes. The friendly neighbor, the charming businessman, was exposed as a cold-blooded serial killer. Saad Iskandar was immediately arrested. The news of his capture sent shockwaves through Alexandria and beyond. The man who had terrorized Karmooz was not some shadowy monster, but one of their own. His trial was a media sensation, drawing massive crowds and dominating newspaper headlines for weeks. During the trial, Saad's dark motives began to come to light. He wasn't a madman in the clinical sense. His crimes were driven by greed. He targeted women he believed were carrying money or wearing valuable jewelry. He would lure them to his home under the pretense of a business transaction or a friendly chat. Once they were inside and their guard was down, he would strike, robbing them of their possessions and then their lives to cover his tracks. His method was chillingly simple and brutally effective. He used his respectable facade to gain their trust. These women saw him as a neighbor, a familiar face in the community, not a predator. This betrayal of trust was perhaps the most terrifying aspect of his crimes. He turned the safety of their own neighborhood into a hunting ground. The court proceedings revealed the full extent of his depravity. Testimonies from the jeweler, neighbors, and the victims' families painted a complete picture of a calculating and ruthless killer hiding in plain sight. Faced with irrefutable evidence found in his own home, Saad Iskandar had no defense. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. In 1953, Saad Iskandar was executed, bringing a final, grim end to one of the most terrifying chapters in Egyptian criminal history. The case of the Karmooz killer left a deep scar on the collective psyche of Alexandria. It was a story of how evil can wear a friendly mask and lurk in the most unexpected places. The tale of Saad Iskandar serves as a chilling reminder of a darker time, but also as a testament to the police work and community vigilance that finally brought him to justice. The whispers of the monster of Karmooz have faded over the decades, replaced by the vibrant sounds of a modern city. Yet, for those who know the story, the narrow streets of Karmooz will forever hold the echo of a time when fear had a name: Saad Iskandar. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating and chilling as we did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into forgotten history and true crime. See you in the next video.